The county I'm in is famed for its big skies, which were the inspiration for one of the nation's best-loved nighttime nursery rhymes. But which sparkly children's song am I referring to, and where am I? Find out in just a few moments. On today's show, we're helping a couple of busy Londoners find a home, a business and a slower pace of life. Our properties appeal to both their interests.
I like that.
Wow.
I love cooking, and he likes eating.
I like eating.
But another leaves them tight-lipped.
I'm not going to say anything because I already really like it and I don't want to give the game away.
Today I'm in Suffolk in the historic town of Lavenham. Now, this beautiful building behind me is Shilling Grange, home to the aspiring young poet Jane Taylor, who apparently penned the nursery rhyme Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star from her bedroom back in 1806. Now, she'd find it hard to imagine how popular this poem would become when it was added to an earlier melody of a French lullaby. And it's amazing to think that this small poem written here in Lavenham back at the start of the 19th century has gone on to have such enduring appeal and is still translated into languages all over the world. But, as you're about to see, poetry isn't all that this beautiful county has to offer. The East Anglian county of Suffolk is bordered by Norfolk to the north, Essex to the south and Cambridgeshire to the west. Situated on the east coast, the low-lying county has few hills and is largely agricultural. There are no cities in Suffolk, but a scattering of beautiful market towns and villages, such as Kersey, which prospered in the medieval period thanks to the wool trade. Many of the historic buildings, some around 500 years old, are painted in the traditional Suffolk pink, a style first adopted by the local dyers. On the coast, the attractive seaside town of Southwold is popular with the rich and famous, and as such, house prices command a premium. Even a beach hut can set you back £70,000. With trains running to London Liverpool Street and journey times around an hour and a quarter from Ipswich and 2 hours from Bury St Edmunds, Suffolk is well connected to the capital. A vibrant arts and music scene, including the world-famous Aldeburgh Festival, makes it a popular destination for those seeking an escape from the busier southeast. The average price for a detached house here in Suffolk is just over £251,000, which is around £16,000 below the national figure. So, generally speaking, this county offers pretty good value for money, especially for those seeking an historic property, as there are over 12,500 listed buildings in Suffolk. But what are today's buyers looking for? Let's meet them and find out. Gil, who's originally from Brazil, and Phil have been a couple for 2 years. Home is currently Phil's two-bedroom flat in Shoreditch, a trendy but very busy part of London.
This is an old artist studio. We designed it all. It's a bit gothic. We like a bit of Victoriana. We've got Hoxton Market just outside our window, which has its upside, because if we want a bunch of flowers or some jelly deals, it's the East End after all. We can get them whenever we want.
There's a very good vibe as well.
It's very noisy, and there are times when it just feels a little bit much.
Phil has recently given up a job as a deputy head teacher and now runs an educational consultancy business from home. Gil works in finance in the City of London and will continue commuting to the capital. He first caught the country bug when he moved to Britain 19 years ago.
Well, when I first came to UK, I went to visit to the Cotswolds, and I absolutely fell in love with the place. But then Philip persuaded me to Suffolk. The quality of life there, it does appeal to me. I've done a lot in London, and I think this is the time to move on.
And they've already dipped their toes into rural living.
We've got a little cottage in Suffolk, and we've been going there every weekend, lots of holidays. We go on a Friday night, we hit the motorway, we light the fire, and that's it, it's a romantic getaway.
Swapping their weekend retreat for a permanent Suffolk home will offer Phil the chance to relive his childhood.
When I was little, I suppose I wanted to be a zoologist or a vet or a jockey or a show jumper. I've always been horse mad, and I used to participate in a sport called eventing. About 15 years ago, I sort of gave it up to focus on my career, and I really want to go back and have another horse. Nothing will make me happier than getting up in the morning, going to feed my horse and going out riding.
Whilst Phil's saddling up, Gil will be down at the local court.
Being naturally Brazilian, you either play football or volleyball, and I chose volleyball, and volleyball has been my passion since a little kid. And when I came to London, I joined a club. We've been playing all over Europe, being national champion in UK, in Europe. Something that keeps you fit, but as well is give you a good sense of community, and I love it, absolutely love it.
As well as running his own consultancy business, Phil also has plans to run a bed and breakfast, a complete change of life for the busy Londoners.
For me, it's a life makeover. I want to make jam. I want to look after horses. I want to look after our bed and breakfast guests. And
We're going to... about me?
Yeah, I know.
You should say I'm going to look after you too.
Well, you can say your bit now.
Our Suffolk property search will be somewhat dictated by Gil's commuting time to London. Ideally, he wants to be no more than 2 hours away from his desk in the city, so we'll be looking within reasonable distance of towns like Bury St Edmunds and Ipswich. I'm meeting up with them on Suffolk soil to discuss the finer details of their big move. It's stunning here, isn't it?
It's amazing.
What is it you like about it so much, Gil?
I love it. I just love the peaceful, the fields, going out and the horses, and having the animals around us.
Well, you'll need to like horses because Philip here, it's a huge passion of yours, isn't it, Philip?
Yeah, I've always been horse mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I could, I learned to ride, and ever since then, horses have been an obsession, really.
So that obsession is being bolted on to this new home, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, talk me through that a bit.
Yeah, well, our objective is to buy a place that has a potential to be an equestrian bed and breakfast.
Right, OK, so we're looking for a house with some land, or at least, land with some outbuildings or space to build outbuildings?
Ideally, we'd like to have them ready-made, but certainly, if we can get planning permission, and that's relatively easy, we don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, we kind of open mind, put it that way.
You've got a consultancy business?
Yeah. I'm an education improvement consultant.
And that's based at home?
It's based at home.
You're quite different, aren't you, Gil?
I am, yeah.
You work in the city, right in London,
Right
don't
in the heart
you?
of it, yeah. I will continue. Initially, the plan is me commute to London.
So let's talk about the house itself. What, Gil, in your mind's eye, does this look like?
Very rural. We don't really like modern. No bungalow whatsoever. Don't say the word B.
Oh, how many bedrooms do you think you need?
4 minimum.
Talk to me about the budget.
Well, our budget is the bottom end 750, but we can go up to 850, provided we don't have to spend too much on it.
That's a really healthy budget, guys. But we're looking for a lot, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say? We're going to have to maybe look at compromises along the way.
Yeah.
But no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Yes, it sounds like it's going to be my pain and your gain, Gil.
Oh, love
That's
that.
no worry. Let's take a look at the first one and see what you think. Just this way.
Thank you.
For a generous top budget of £850,000, Gil and Phil are after a property with character in a rural location, ideally with 3 acres of land and outbuildings to run an equestrian bed and breakfast business in the future. They'd like a minimum of 4 bedrooms and need to be close to a train link into London for Gil's job. We've lined up 3 lovely Suffolk properties to tempt our buyers, but I won't be revealing the price of each until the end of the tour. Our mystery house will give Phil and Gil plenty of property, but not necessarily in the right places. Our first house is located in the village of Somersham, 7 miles from Ipswich railway station, with a journey time of 1 hour and a quarter to London by train. The closest town is Hadley, one of a series of attractive East Anglian settlements that derived its wealth from the wool trade, and as such has a range of preserved timber and brick listed buildings, as well as a leisure centre with hard court areas for volleyball fanatic Gil. The property can be found on a quiet country lane just outside the village of Somersham. First impressions, gentlemen.
I like the look of it.
Yeah.
Good.
Good start.
Yeah, no, it's a really lovely house, actually. What a lovely setting.
That's a good plus for the setting.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping cool.
It's hard to place it because it's been completely refurbished and to a very good standard. Parts of the house, the far side really, date back as far as 1580. Now, when you get inside, suddenly that history comes alive.
All right.
Great.
So far, so good. Can't wait to see inside. I want to see more.
Well, this is where we find out. You said you wanted character. We'll find out how much you actually like it.
I love it.
All
Let's go.
Our first property is a Grade 2 listed Tudor Suffolk farmhouse and is built of a classic stout oak frame. So the first thing you'll see, lovely little snug area. Cosy. That stove works, solid fuel burner. Now, what do you think of this?
Wow. There is a bit of a wow factor.
I hoped for something like this, standing outside.
The first thing I think is like Christmas time. There's a beautiful room for, you know, very Christmas. Yeah.
Love those beams
Can
as
imagine
well.
me here.
The kitchen is a magnificent room. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that is lovely.
I like that.
Wow.
I love cooking.
Do you?
I do. I love it. And he likes eating.
I like eating. That's the perfect combination.
And I guess it's quite easy if you are entertaining and have a dinner party. It's just, you know.
Well, yeah, you get the best of both worlds, don't you? Because, you know, you're not separated. It's still an entertaining space.
That's good.
Let's take a quick peek at the living room just through here. As well as the snug dining room and kitchen, there's a utility room to house the white goods and an oak-framed sunroom which is adjacent to the main living room. Just mind your step coming down here.
Thank you.
So, what's your thoughts?
It's a living room. Yeah, I guess you've got a small window there. If you left that open, you've got dual aspect.
Cozy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the floor a lot.
Cosy sounds like you're expecting maybe a bit bigger. Don't you know?
No, we like cozy, but yeah, but maybe I was for the living area was a little bit.
I've always been partial to sort of slightly claustrophobic places.
Upstairs certainly isn't claustrophobic, as there are 4 decent-sized bedrooms and a family bathroom with roll-top bath. One of the doubles offers some space above it in the eaves, and another leads to a further bedroom beyond that. Finally, there's a room that might suit Gil and Phil. The master suite kind of starts from here, so you've got an ensuite, and then you've got a big duck. This is your master bedroom.
Yeah, no, I like that, definitely. I love the chimney breasts, because that'd be warm when the house is warm, when the fire's on.
Good size.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm not sure in the dark how I was going to be with that, but I love that.
This is your home first. I know you've got ideas of having the B&B business in the future. I think this house could adapt to be your B&B business, if you like. My plan for the equine bed and breakfast business would be to turn the 2 adjacent double bedrooms into a self-contained suite, with the furthest room becoming an ensuite bathroom. Outside, the garden spread out to the rear of the property, and there's a large 3-acre paddock offering plenty of room for a horse or 2, as well as a couple of outbuildings. Now, let's talk about everything we've got here. Now, as you can see, remember when we came in, there was a brick building?
Yeah.
You've also got this building here.
Yes.
That's a good-sized building with a brand-new roof, with power and water. OK? Now, going to your business idea, you'd initially think stables. I actually think if you could put stables elsewhere, that would be great accommodation for guests, subject to obtaining the planning consents.
Yeah.
It would. And behind those trees, in a way, would be good for the stables.
Yeah, be perfect, wouldn't it? How much do you think it's on the market for?
775.
I've gone around 750.
Good guess. It's on the market for £750,000. Even at the asking price, it gives you that float of £100,000 to walk around with it.
Yeah.
Without me, why didn't you go around the house on your own, but then go and explore all these outbuildings?
Yeah.
Concentrate on it being a home first. This business idea of yours, that's something for the future.
Correct, yeah.
Help yourselves,
Yeah.
and I'll catch up with you whenever you're finished.
All
All
right,
right, guys.
Thanks.
£100,000 below their maximum budget, our first property gives Gil and Phil a sizable character home full of original features, including a large kitchen to cook breakfast for paying guests, 4 good-sized bedrooms, plus plenty of space and outbuildings to develop the equine holiday business, and it's reasonably situated for the mainline railway station.
I loved the space, the outside space, the look of it, the situation. The kitchen's amazing. The living room a little bit underwhelming. The more I look at it and take into account the outbuildings, which I've kind of fallen in love with, it's growing on me.
The living area, I was kind of not quite there, but saying that it's something that we could work on it. Overall, good start. Do I love the house? Not sure yet. We'll see what comes next. But I like it. Good start.
Now then, Philip, your sport for choice, I figure, for where to put your stables. Did you find anywhere to put a volleyball court?
Well, there is space, that's for sure. Nice space there. But we were walking around the house and Philip was like, oh, I can see a horse from here, I can see a horse from that angle, and that angle. So I was thinking, where's the volleyball court guy?
Sounds like we need to go away from here. Remember all you liked and all you had question marks over. We're going to go to the next property, so follow me.
Cool. Excellent.
Suffolk's low-lying flat terrain suits arable farming. For centuries, a common feature in the rural landscape was the Suffolk Punch, a heavy draft horse that was bred to pull the plough and carry the wheat. First bred in the 16th century, it's the oldest kind of heavy horse in Britain. A century ago, there were several 100,000 Suffolks, but today there are approximately 400 breeding animals left. In order to protect the breed, a charity, the Suffolk Punch Trust, was set up in 2002 on 180 acres of farmland near Hollesley. As Phil is passionately interested in horses, we sent him and Gil to meet the Trust's head groom, Gemma Martin, to find out why the Suffolk Punch is on the critical list.
Is it true that the breed is more rare than the giant panda?
Yes, it is. There's about 2,000 giant pandas compared to just over the 400 mark of the Suffolk Punches. They're actually critical on the endangered list, so it's quite vulnerable at the moment.
And what made the breed so ideal for working?
They're very short and compact with a lot of power, so their pulling power is about 2.5 times their own weight.
Why are they such a dangerous species now?
Well, obviously, when mechanisation came around with your big tractors and things, which can do things so much quicker than your horses, unfortunately, loads of these horses were sold on from farms, and at that point weren't bred anymore because there was just not the demand for them, so the numbers dwindled immensely.
So, Gemma, what does the Trust do to protect the horses?
Well, we've got an active breeding system where we try and put all of our mares in foal every year to up the numbers. Also, finding them jobs to do in today's world, so they're trained in logging and all sorts of things like that. And we've recently started riding one of our mares as well.
As well as being used for farm work, the breed also pulled heavy artillery during the First World War. To prevent the Suffolk Punch from dying out, the Trust has developed a unique programme to encourage its recreational use, turning it from a workhorse to a riding companion. This involves breaking them to saddle, a process also known as backing. This 5-year-old mare is called Colony V.
Gemma, how long has she been backed?
About 5 months ago now, but prior to that, as a 2-year-old, she's actually done some harness training, so she's done a bit beforehand.
So, do you think she's ready for another rider?
I think so.
Shall I go and get changed?
I think that's a great idea.
Colony V is aiming for her first county show in a couple of months' time. Phil is an experienced rider, but he's never ridden a Suffolk Punch before, and they're both a little nervous.
Is there anything I need to be aware of when riding her?
Just that although she's 5, she's still quite green in herself, so she hasn't done a lot. Be nice and gentle with her mouth as well.
Okay, so no contact really, just
a
light
slight
contact.
one, yeah.
Okay, I'll get on then, yeah?
A mature Suffolk generally stands at between 16 and 17 hands and can weigh up to 1,000 kilos, the same as a small car. And they are always chestnut in colour.
In fact, you actually look quite a good size on her. I think we'll steal you back to ride her in shows.
Yeah, I'd love to ride her.
So, how did it go?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Lovely.
Are we buying one then?
The Trust relies heavily on the help of volunteers. So even if they don't buy a Suffolk Punch, there'll be plenty of chances to help out at the stables and visitor centre. But first, we need to return to the business of finding our buyers a home. For our second offering, we're heading east, deeper into the Suffolk countryside and to the hamlet of Sternfield. The closest market town, Saxmundham, is 2 miles away and offers a wide range of amenities and a train station. It's a 40-minute rail journey to Ipswich where you have to change for the London train. The famous Snake Maltings Concert Hall is nearby, which attracts visitors from around the world and is one of the venues for the famous Aldeburgh Festival, so a good spot for a potential bed and breakfast business. Sternfield itself is a peaceful village and our second house is situated on its fringes on a quiet lane.
So in order to mix things up a bit, we thought we'd show you a Georgian farmhouse. This is it.
I like it already.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
I absolutely like it. Wow.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You can see the big smile on the face. Yeah, definitely like it.
There is a compromise, there's always a compromise, especially when you're looking for period properties with land attached. And that's where we are. I'm stretching your commute, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Saxmundham is only a couple of miles down the road and it has a train station there. You'd be better driving to Ipswich 40-odd minutes and then getting a train there.
Okay.
Sorry.
You will be. No, I'm joking. No, well, I always said, if the location or the house is the house of our dreams, I'll be willing to compromise, I would say. But I have already a good feeling, and I just hope this flow
We'll continue through it.
when we go inside. So.
Let's have a look. Come on, follow me.
Go.
Well, Gil seems open to the idea of a longer commute.
In we come.
So that's the major stumbling block out of the way. We're heading to the back of the Grade 2 listed farmhouse, which has been recently extended.
So in we come to, well, the newest part of the house, actually. Look at you, you're comfortable already.
You can see my smile is continuous there, so I like it.
I'm not going to say anything because I already really like it and I don't want to give the game away.
Come on, man, that's good.
Is that good?
That is what we're here for.
So far, I could see us here and having our friends, family.
Yeah.
2 things that were in a good way.
2 thumbs up, good. So do you like what they've done with it? Because it's modern, much more modern than we've seen so far, but do you work?
I think it's gorgeous.
It works, even, if the part with the little window there is quite quirky, yeah, I like it.
You want to see more?
Absolutely.
Well, tell you what we'll do. You can do a complete circuit, if you like, of the ground floor before we go upstairs. Let's do just that.
Sounds good to me.
The kitchen leads onto a stunning dining room with glass doors along one side and fantastic views out onto the garden. Adjacent to the dining room is a cosy snug with wood-burning stove.
Now you've got a much bigger reception room
That's
here.
more like. I like it. Love the fireplace. As you said, you kind of go around the house.
Well, this would have been. It might have felt a bit long and thin before, but because you've got that extension, look, there's the old external wall, look.
Yeah.
Because you have that extension, in the short term, you've got a snug in a living room. In the long term, talking about maybe having guests to stay, you've got a sanctuary there at least, haven't you?
Well, that's their living room, isn't it? Because you can have that for the guests.
Fair enough. Either way, keeping their bed and breakfast business in mind, there are plenty of reception rooms without compromising their privacy. Upstairs, the spacious theme continues as there are 5 bedrooms spread across 2 floors.
So let's start with the master bedroom.
Oh, gosh.
Again, good size.
Yeah, it's lovely.
To give you an idea of what you've got an ensuite here, an ensuite bath, a jacuzzi in it, shower. Then you've got a bedroom in the middle and a bedroom right at the end, and beyond that bedroom is an ensuite, but it's the size of another family bathroom.
Right.
So the middle bedroom would have to come through one of these bedrooms to use his ensuite, so maybe that becomes an office or a study or whatever.
Yeah. No.
But upstairs, you've got 2 other bedrooms that share a bathroom.
Wow. OK.
So you've got all the bedrooms you asked for.
I can't add those up. How many does that make?
You've got 5 bedrooms, but I think essentially you've kind of got 4 if you're starting to think about guests and walking through other people's bedrooms and stuff. So you've got all the bedrooms up here. Let me take you back outside, if I may. Start thinking about price as well, guys.
Yeah.
To the side of the house, there's a large timber-framed outbuilding that could be converted into stables. The outside space includes a south-facing patio, and the rear garden is mainly lawn with a footbridge across a small river to a further garden and meadow. There are 3 acres of land in total, but there's also an option to rent a paddock at the back of the property for Phil's longed-for horse.
I know.
Look at it.
Yes, it's idyllic.
Can see the volleyball court here.
That's always now. They've almost given you a volleyball net, though, haven't they?
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Actually,
look at that.
nearly would spoil, actually.
You said to someone, you know, show me a meadow. This would be it, wouldn't it?
It's just, you'd be so proud to live here, wouldn't you?
So how much do you think this spectacular Georgian property with its 3 acres is on the market for?
I'm going to say 785.
I'm going to go a bit higher, actually. 825.
This house is on the market for offers around £795,000.
Oh, wow. That surprised me, actually.
Yes.
You need to go back into this
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
and think about whether you guys could live here and commute to and from here as well, most importantly, Gil. All right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
The house is that way, but don't forget to walk the land as well.
All right, then.
All right?
Should we go
Thank
that
you.
way?
Let's go that way.
Do whatever you want.
Cheers.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks.
£55,000 below their maximum budget, our second property, a Grade 2 listed Georgian farmhouse, gives Gil and Phil the character they asked for in a rural location. It features 5 bedrooms, a large kitchen and land and outbuildings for an equine holiday business. But it is a longer commute for Gil, just over 2 hours door to door.
Walking in architecturally, kitchen is a wonderful space, flooded with light. Definitely somewhere where I could imagine pottering around, spending time. It's spoiled for choice where to stay, because we could probably live in the 3rd floor, where I can imagine probably just wanting to sleep in each room a different night of the week, because I'd like all of them to be my bedroom.
Walking around the house, it flows really well. Like the layout, it worked. You know, you're kind of going around, and wherever you looked at was just nice and bright, and it just worked. It's like being on holiday, actually. You're just looking around, and those bridges. This is a romantic getaway, really. Yeah, I'm speechless for that. I love it.
So, look at that. Is that a contented smile there, Philip?
Yes.
But are you both happy?
Yes.
Yeah?
We are, yeah.
Something to think about tonight?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Good.
definitely.
Good news, let's go back.
All right.
It's the second day of our property search, and on a generous budget of £850,000, we're helping Gil and Phil from London escape the bustle of the capital for the serenity of Suffolk. Coming up, we go off-piste with the Mystery House.
It's like a ski lodge.
Okay, yeah, you know, it's a good point, actually. I get that, yeah.
And I head back to the Stone Age.
Well, we looked around 2 fantastic properties yesterday, didn't we? Although I don't think it takes a genius to work out which of the 2 houses is coming out on top. Now, with that in mind, I think we can afford to take a bit of a risk today. And let's face it, that's what the mystery property is all about, isn't it? Now, with this house itself, there are a couple of issues, first of all. Now, for Philip, there's not a great deal of land for his horses, although there is an opportunity to get hold of some at a later date. And then for Gil, well, he seems to have an acute dislike for bungalows. And let's face it, this house is built all on the same level. But if they're able to get over these issues, they could get their hands on a character property with so much space that it'll offer them fantastic potential for their business. Let's see how we go. You want something quite different. You want land around you and da-da-da-da. You know there's going to be compromises, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right,
We're fully
okay.
aware of that.
So are you hinting at a project?
I'm hinting at a compromise. We're not showing you this house because we think it's not unsuitable. We're just approaching it from a slightly different angle.
I know, we like that.
I did say to you at the very beginning that we are open mind.
Well, let's see how far they're willing to go. For our mystery house, we're heading northwest to the village of Laxfield, a 30-minute drive to the nearest train station. Nearby Dennington has a vibrant community, which is reflected in the number of activities and societies on offer, including a sports club for Gil. Our final offering is situated a mile south from Laxfield village in open countryside.
So, the mystery house is this, well, almost looks like a collection of barns, doesn't it?
I know.
It does.
First impressions?
I like it. I mean, is it a bungalow?
Well, funny to say that. It's converted barn,
Yes.
OK? Which, you know, those
Yeah.
words seem to get people jumping for joy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're quite right. It is all on one level, so it's a bungalow in its truest sense. These are two very different men that I saw yesterday, aren't they? You're not jumping for joy at the moment, are you?
I'm looking forward to seeing the stables and the equestrian centre that's behind it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, this is the mystery house, and yes, the land could be an issue. On the plus side, the actual property is huge, over 4,000 square feet, and so offers lots of potential to accommodate guests, either friends from London or income-generating holidaymakers.
Right, so the hub of the house, when you first walk in. First impressions?
Yeah, it's a spacious entrance, but the ceiling feels a bit low.
That's because there's a gallery above it.
Yeah.
There's a mezzanine level, if you like.
Yes.
Just through that door, you've got a utility, a good-sized utility with a deep freeze and a ground floor shower room and loo. Just through those doors there's a snug. We'll have a quick pick of that later. Let me take you to the separate living room first.
Yeah.
OK.
The accommodation is arranged around a central courtyard, with the bedroom quarters on one side and the day-to-day living areas on the other. The main living room is accessed via a formal dining area.
Right then. This is the furthest part from the kitchen, if you like.
OK. Yeah.
I like this bit.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
It's like a ski lodge.
Yeah, you know, it's a good point, actually. I get that, yeah. One of the reasons why we brought you here is because we thought this might give you a really good opportunity of up-and-running B&B or some form of hospitality-based business.
OK.
We're not really centred on that a great deal. But we think this is your dedicated living room, away from your paying customers. This is just you guys.
OK.
OK. Yeah, we'll bear that in mind.
All right?
Yeah.
So let's see more.
Yeah,
Sure.
there's probably 3,500 square feet still to come, isn't there?
Good maths. I think you're about right. Let's go and have a look at some of it.
Despite its size, the third property doesn't appear to have captured the hearts of our buyers just yet.
So the kitchen is quite different.
Yes.
It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, for you guys, looking at your home stroke business, let's think about, you know,
Yeah.
you've got your sanctuary away from people at the far end, haven't you? That living room just been to. You've got a snug here, looking out into the garden.
Yeah.
And then, you know, your standard dining kitchen here.
Yeah.
Put the Georgian house yesterday to the back of your mind. Let's,
Yeah.
you know, try and see this
Oh, it's gone.
as it is. All right?
Yeah.
Is this the sort of kitchen you could see yourselves in?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a fab kitchen, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, who would, what's not to like? Yeah.
All right. Let's go and have a look at the bedroom stock, because there's quite a bit to see. Follow me.
Okay.
There are 6 bedrooms in total, and not surprisingly, they're all a good size. 3 of those bedrooms are found in a self-contained wing of the property, which also features a living room with kitchenette and bathroom. This section could be entirely reserved for guests, leaving the 3 remaining bedrooms and family bathroom for Gil and Phil.
Now, as it stands, this is the master bedroom.
Okay.
It's the biggest, and it's en suite with a sunken bath in there, actually.
Right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I like the exposure of, you know, the beans and all that. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been your feeling when you've been walking around?
I haven't got to grips with the geography of the house yet. It feels very sprawling.
Yeah, it's labyrinthian almost. It's
Yes.
because it's also all on one level. It's spread out quite a lot.
Yes.
But when you consider that you could probably shut bits of the property off as and when guests
Yes,
come to
that's
stay,
an advantage.
either paying or non-paying, it could work quite well.
In terms of land, this property is the smallest we've seen, at around 1¼ acres. The gardens are mainly laid to lawn and bordered by an open meadow. There's a garage, but no immediate space and shelter for a horse. However, there are rentable options nearby.
What's your thoughts on this house?
Well, I mean, fair dues. It's a good attempt.
I feel like I'm being homeschooled now. This is the teacher of you coming out, isn't it? Am I getting a cross or a tick at the moment? Oh.
Little smiley face.
Right, OK.
But not a big beaming smile, just a little half.
Yeah. All right, well, how would you price this house? I mean, you've both been very good in the pricing so far. How much do you think this place is on the market for?
I think 725.
OK, Philip?
695.
Both good guesses. It's on the market for a guide price of £725,000. When you go back into the house, you've seen the land.
Yeah.
When you go back into the house and look at some of the areas we haven't yet seen, some of the bedrooms, and I'll meet you back outside whenever you've finished. All right?
OK.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Substantially below budget by £125,000, our one-level barn conversion gives Gil and Phil 4,000 square feet of accommodation to play with, including 6 bedrooms and a separate wing for guests, but comes with only 1.25 acres of land.
Location-wise, it did look good. But then when I realised it was all in one level, it was challenging.
The feel of the house for me, it's a great family home. Potential B&B, I have to say, from my heart, I didn't get the feeling that it's the home that I would dream of.
Well then, gentlemen, enjoy your tour around on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful house. You know, it just didn't work first, but a huge potential there.
Good. Well, there's something else preying on your minds, I shouldn't wonder. Sounds like there's a big decision looming. Let's find you somewhere to have a bit of a think, and then we'll get together and have a discussion.
Yeah.
Good.
Sounds good.
In 2005, the cliffs overlooking Suffolk's North Sea coast at Pakefield hit the headlines. 2 amateur archaeologists stumbled on a remarkable discovery that would rewrite history. A collection of stone tools, similar to these and made from local flint, showed that humans were living in Britain 700,000 years ago, far earlier than previously thought. The process of shaping or knapping flint continues today, and the stone is often used as a building material in the county. I've come to Bury St Edmunds to meet master flint napper Will Lord, who runs workshops in prehistory to find out how Stone Age man would have made these tools.
This is amazing. Let's talk about this environment. Stone Age, we're talking about up to 1 million years ago. Goodness me, it just mind boggles, doesn't it? What was it like around here? I mean, what was the environment like?
It was a lush savannah, but the problem is the animal kingdom was far different.
What sort of animals were roaming here then, Will?
You had mammoth, woolly rhino, you've got hyenas, you've got bears, you've got lions.
Now, of course, we're talking about Stone Age man and woman here. And at the heart of this process is stone. And here in Suffolk, we have bountiful supplies of flint. Now, you do something here called flint napping.
Well, yes, we've got the flint napping over there. And if we approach a stone well, within 5 minutes' time, we could be holding in our hands something called a hand axe, which sounds like it's used for chopping trees down.
Yeah.
But basically, it was used as a butchery tool for cutting up things like a great big mammoth.
Can I have a go at this?
You can have a go at this too.
Let's go, Will. Come on.
Let's go.
Flint is a fine-grained form of the mineral quartz, usually found as lumps in chalk. It's one of the hardest natural materials there is, making it the perfect stone from which to craft a tool. The first step of napping involves breaking open a piece of parent material called a core.
How old is this?
100 million year old.
100 million years old.
Yeah.
It's amazing. OK, so you've got your raw material.
We need to bust it open, look at the geometry of how to break it apart.
OK.
So with that in mind, let's put that down and meet your hammers, because they're quite interesting. First of all, it's quartzite. It's the oldest stone on the planet.
Quartzite?
Quartzite. And it's very, 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 very hard.
Will is going to start me off, but not before I get kitted out, as flint can shatter and spark when struck.
What I'm going to ask you to do now, is I want you to hold this on your leg as I held it, on mine.
So about there?
Yeah, that looks great.
OK.
Then hold on to this.
Right.
I'm going to use my finger as a pen to mark where you are going to hit it. You're going to hit him there. Now hit it hard. That was the one. Lovely job.
The next step is to strike flakes off the core and then to shape those flakes into the intended tool.
That wheel looks... that looks terrifying. It's, look
You
at the edges.
you don't want to run your finger across the tip of
No
that,
way,
yeah.
look at that.
All this work has made me hungry, so what better way to test out our prehistoric carving knives than on a leg of fire-cooked venison?
Goodness me, that's sharp.
It's just falling in, isn't it?
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Normally I'd say, look, I wish you the very best of luck, I'll see you again, but I'm going nowhere. Should we do some more carving?
Let's get into it, shall we?
Well, after looking around 3 stunning properties, I think it's fair to assume that there's still one clear favourite. Let's find out what Philip and Gil want to do about it. I'm pretty sure that your favourite house is house number 2, we saw yesterday afternoon. What I want to know is, what do you want to do about it?
Well, we're still mulling it over. It is a lovely house, and I knew from the moment that I saw it that you were presenting us with a real dilemma, which was why I was kind of nervous going around the house, because I didn't want to love it as much as I did. But the payoff of the 2-hour commute either way is such a big consideration.
What I would love to do is actually to try the commute, and
It's a great idea.
And see how long it actually would take.
We started out a couple of days ago and we were looking for a house with this potential to become a business in a few years' time, and in a lot of ways I think that took the focus away from what we should have been looking at. And I've seen this journey go from this potential business to, no, actually what we want is a home first and foremost. And it's that home part of house number 2 that you both seem to really fall for.
Probably the deciding factor is always going to be emotionally based.
That's what this process is about, though. It's a journey, isn't it?
And you got us into a bungalow.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yes.
I totally forgot about that.
Well, look, I wish you both the very best with that second viewing. Whatever you decide, do please let us know, won't you?
We will.
It'll be a sunny day, that's for sure. That'll help.
Don't do it in a wet. Please don't do it in a wet. Perhaps that's what you should do, though. Look, good luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Admittedly, it was a bit of a gamble showing Gil and Philip the second property, bearing in mind the commute time back into London for Gil. But I'm glad we took that risk. I certainly think it was worth it, because in showing them that house, it's got both of them to refocus on what's important to them. And that's that the house or business needs to be a home for them both first. And what a home that Georgian property would make. And in going back for a second viewing, doing a dummy run on that commute, if Gil's able to put up with an extra 10 or 15 minutes on a train, you never know, we may well have found them a new home. I sure hope so. See you next time.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Wales, England, Northern Ireland or Scotland and would like our help, then you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.